Hello and welcome to a new episode of the CTO Show with Mehmet. My name is Mehmet, and as you know, in each episode, I discuss different topics from AI, emerging tech, cybersecurity, digital transformation, and sometimes I have with me entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, thought leaders who share their insights about what's happening currently in the market. And today I'm very happy to have with me Edward Sturm, who is joining me from Poland, but he's originally from New York City. Edward, thank you very much for being with me on the show today. So can you just introduce yourself, what you've been up to?
Hey, all right. Yeah, this is cool. So I'm actually one of the early viral video producers on YouTube. And I only realized that in retrospect when I was thinking back to my career, but I was making viral videos on YouTube before people even realized that you could make a living on YouTube. And I've had like hundreds of millions of views on my videos. I've been on some of the top TV shows in the world, all over the world, because we were doing big stunts. So we would go on TV shows in Japan, Germany, all over the United States where I'm from. And like I said, we were doing this in a time when no one realized that you could really make a living making videos on YouTube. And so as a result, I pursued like the standard route, which is first I went and I worked at television networks in New York. I famously worked at the company that made Saturday Night Live. And and then I got really into tech and but like the marketing side of tech. And so I started teaching myself search engine optimization because I thought it was like this magic superpower. And I think I'm now probably one of the best SEOs on the planet, one of the best search engine optimizers on the planet. I've done it for ADP and Procter and Gamble and Time Inc. and Microsoft. And I had my own agency. I also worked in an agency doing it for other companies. And SEO is my favorite marketing channel. And then I got into some other stuff. Before I tell the rest, I don't know. Do you have any questions about? I'm on like a whirlwind right now.
Yeah, that's fine. No, that's completely fine. Actually, I was interested and you little bit highlighted it about your journey of becoming a viral creator on YouTube. So like how, this evolved, that space since then, because now everyone dream is to become viral on YouTube. But how did you see this evolution since the time that you started that?
When I started, YouTube was more about actually a great question. When I started on YouTube, YouTube was more about stunts than it was of having like serialized shows or channels. It was more about doing like big things and capturing it on camera. And that's what me and my friend did. And a few times we tried to do a vlog. And we never did a vlog because a vlog is a lot of work, and my friend didn't he thought he wanted to do it, and he didn't wanna do it. And I actually could have done it, and I didn't realize that at the time that I could have just started a daily YouTube vlog myself. And I think had I known how, um, how successful you could get with a daily vlog on YouTube, had I actually, like, known that at the time, had there been examples like Casey Neistat, I would have done it. But I at the time, it was way more than 10 years ago, and I
Wow.
had no idea. Yeah. And I think it was in 2009 when we had our first viral video, and wasn't like YouTube founded in it was either acquired or founded in 2007. I mean, YouTube is
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, no one knew. And so it slowly progressed from being about capturing cool things on camera to being about creators and their stories and serials and personalities. It was a slow, like several year transition. And had I known that was coming, oh man, I mean, I would have started a YouTube channel in college. It's like I was actually so after search engine optimization, I still do it. In fact, I literally wrote a guide on how to do SEO for AI chatbots like ChatGPT and Bing AI and Bard, and that was picked up in one of the top search engine optimization newsletters. So I still like do that, but after SEO, I ended up getting into blockchain, and I ran the biggest blockchain meetup in the world, and I made with my friends the first play to earn game in crypto. We made the first video game in crypto. We invented the term play to earn, and um, and that was another thing. It was like it's all it's funny because I get into these spaces so early. I've made this mistake so many times, and I would get into a space so early, and then it would like take a few more years than you think to pop off, and then you leave the space. And um, I mean, we did okay in crypto, as you might imagine, but there are companies that came after us doing the exact same thing that we did, and they made billions of dollars, whereas we only made millions of dollars. And you see that, and you're like, oh man, that could
That's still not
not.
bad, no?
It's not bad, but it's not I mean, it's not bad, but, like, the companies that made billions, they came after us. Their growth was a lot slower, and the only difference between them and us was that they stuck with it during the hard times, whereas we moved on to different things. And, that's I mean, we very quickly got into what the biggest lesson in my career is, which has been, like, stick with something. If you have good, if you experience a good fortune in a specific niche, stick with it. And there's so much power to actually sticking with something. And a lot of entrepreneurs, they don't understand that. They're way too quick to give up and switch to something. Way too quick. Drives me crazy. And um, now that I've realized that, things have been going really well. Like we were talking before we started recording, I just passed 30,000 followers on TikTok. I'm almost at 1,000 on IG, but I started this channel only a few months ago. And when I
Wow.
started the channel, I made the decision that I'm prepared to stick with this for years and just see what happens. And that's been going well. My other startups are going well, except ones that are years old because I didn't drop them. When the times I realized this, I got this lesson, and when the times got tough, I didn't get going, and now those are doing well. One is growing in MRR. We're about to put in a crazy AI feature. The other, we finally just started getting users on after a long development period. And yeah, so my career was like YouTube, like crazy YouTube videos and TV shows, search like super sophisticated search engine optimization, blockchain and crypto, and then like SaaS and viral videos again.
That's really a rich experience, I would say, an extensive one. Now, here is the question for you. Like, um, working with these various fields, like, first, I want to ask you how easy it's to switch, and do these things. And the second question I want to ask you, like, among all the things that you mentioned, which was the most rewarding, I would say, project that you have worked on and why?
Working with working in various fields, I just started a growth hacking newsletter. And the reason I did that is because I found that like the same playbook that I use for one thing can also be used for another thing in a different field. And I also have like my channel on TikTok is called Build in Public because a
Hmm.
year ago I was very afraid to build in public. I was very afraid to like share my vulnerabilities and the few successes that I've had but all the failures because I failed a lot more times than I succeeded. And I was afraid to share that. And I was afraid to share all that stuff. And so I called my channel on TikTok Build in Public. If you search Build in Public on TikTok, I'm the number one thing that comes up. And um, when I started doing that, it felt so good and it felt so right that I wanted to do more of that. And I didn't care if I exposed the secrets that have made me a lot of money and that have made me very successful. And so, yeah, yeah, actually, that would work too. I think that hashtag works, right? If you put that in.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So
I think
it's
I've
like
come up.
at, right?
Well, my username is at build underscore
I will
in
get it.
underscore
Don't worry.
public.
Don't worry.
Yeah,
I will get that. I will
on
get that.
TikTok. On Instagram, it's edward.builds. If you use Instagram more than TikTok, it's edward.builds. On Twitter, um, you could just search Edward Sturm. I'm gonna migrate one Twitter to my main Twitter. And so yeah, it felt so good to share things. And so I started this newsletter to do that because I found that the playbook that I use for one niche works in another niche. And uh, yeah, it's more so like the last decade has been me learning crazy tricks and then using them to compound. So I would learn one trick that would make another trick more powerful. Like when I learned when I learned TikTok, it made my SEO abilities even stronger. I could rank things even better. When I got good at doing podcasts and started going on a lot of podcasts, I got backlinks from those, and I got content to repurpose for TikTok and for mobile video, and everything kind of like winds into each other, which I really love. Um, and then what was the second question? What has been
Uh,
the most rewarding?
yeah. Which one was the most rewarding? Right?
Yeah, and feel free to interrupt me at any time. I tend to
Yeah, that's
ramble.
fine. That's fine. I'm enjoying the passion you're having.
I have a lot of
Edward.
passion.
I
I
can
mean,
see that.
that's why I think I've grown on TikTok as fast as I have, is because I'm a passionate person. But um, the most rewarding, I'm not gonna lie. So it's so funny because for this last, I was living in Kiev for 2 years in Ukraine,
Mhm.
and I had like a personal Instagram, and it was okay. I mean, I wasn't trying to grow it. I wasn't trying to be famous or anything. And I took down all of my photos on it. I'm like, I want to be mysterious, and I don't want people to know who I am or what I've done, or that I worked in crypto. And I don't want to be famous. I don't want that. And I made this TikTok actually kind of out of desperation, for a project that was taking longer, this project Commit Club, and it was taking longer than I anticipated to get users. And at first, I tried doing the whole build in public thing on Twitter. I don't know if you've tried
Okay.
have you tried build in public on Twitter?
That's a good question. I just started to do these kinds of, I would say, odd things for me because, I've started to see this hashtag for quite some times, and I was always fascinated. You see people from different backgrounds, people from different, I would say, even skill sets, and they try to commit of building something in public, and
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be necessarily just something related to tech, right? So you see sometimes people trying to build content, right, in general.
sure.
So you see people trying to do, for example, build in public an audience. So for the first few times I was seeing this hashtag, I was saying, this is something interesting. Let me keep watching this space until that myself, after 20 plus years in corporate world, I said, okay, you know what? I'm gonna try to jump on this and do build in public. So the first attempt is this podcast itself. Um, it's like I said, I'm not losing anything, right? Because here is just, of course, I'm not losing. I might be losing at the end of the day, but I mean, um, you just need to jump out of your comfort zone at some stage, and like you need to hit, I would say,
Yeah,
the button. So this
yes.
was the first step, and I'm doing something really. People are saying like you're crazy. I'm doing daily podcasts.
Nice.
Um, yeah. Not every time I have guests with me. So sometimes I just go by and I don't record when I'm alone. I'm not recording, I mean, video, but I'm gonna start to do that. And even in the weekends, I do this as well. So this was the first step. Second step is I start to jump on some cohort like 100 days of no code and similar things, and build in public. And I even jumped in places that I've never been before, like Indie Hacker, Product Hunt.
Indie
Of
hackers,
course,
yeah. Yeah.
yeah, of course, I know about these sites. I've been seeing them since years, but I mean, I never like I was just the guy who scroll and never do anything there. So this was my own, I would say, experience over there, and now I'm doing this, and just like 2 weeks back, and I'm heavy on LinkedIn, honestly, more than Twitter. Um, and people were shocked. Well, what is this? What are you doing? Like I said, yeah, I'm committing to do something I've seen on Twitter mainly, where people try to build 6 in 12 or 12 in 12 and this kinds of things.
Yeah.
I don't call it failure. I might learn things down the road, right? But I will try this also as well because it's an
So what
experience.
what are
And
what are you trying? What are you trying? I know what you're referring to, the 12 startups in 12 months, or like
yeah,
gear levels and Product Hunt. We've finished number one and number two on Product Hunt many times. In fact, we launched our recent project on the same day that ChatGPT launched in Product Hunt.
uh,
We were going to beat ChatGPT, and then at 2 p.m. it surpassed us, and they came in. ChatGPT came in one, we came in two. Um, as for build in public on Twitter, I decided to switch to TikTok because everyone builds in public on Twitter. It's very competitive. It's very hard, but very few people build in public on TikTok, and it's a lot easier to get a market share and an audience there. That's why I switched to that. But I'm curious. So you're doing build in public on LinkedIn?
on Twitter, but I announced that on LinkedIn, which people found odd because majority of the
Oh,
yeah,
mhm.
majority of the folks there, they're not aware. Maybe if they are aware, they're shy of speaking about it. But for me, like I've been following this space now for 2 years almost,
Yeah,
and I said, okay, let me try to do it. I'm not losing anything. Actually, I'm learning, and I can tell you
yeah.
now. For example, the podcast I build it in a way it's built in public as well. And I told the audience from day one, I might shift the format, I might shift you know the the topics, I might shift anything. And actually, this is what happened. And people start telling me, you know what, like this is what made your podcast different because you're not like a kind of boring guy who speaks about the same topic every time. And you try to bring guests who are like from different backgrounds, doing different things. And now, like one guy, he wrote me the other day, hey, I was expecting you to shut down the podcast after 10, maximum 15 episodes. But here you go now, you are about to hit the 100 marks in a couple of
Wow,
days.
wow, nice.
Yeah. I said, yeah, like just I'm liking it. Actually, I'm learning down the way. When I'm speaking to someone like yourself, Edward, I'm learning, right? I'm seeing
Yeah.
what other people have done. I'm getting motivated myself as well. So this is a huge thing. What I'm trying to build in a very, I would say, nutshell, trying to build. I didn't start yet. I did shy starts, but I need to work on that. So I said, I believe I can come up with a SaaS product idea and build it. I can come up with a product service and I can build it. I can come up with um, like the podcast is one thing, the YouTube channel is one thing, some other content. I started TikTok also recently.
Oh,
I'm
yeah?
still shy. Yeah, I'm still shy over there. What I'm trying to do is to be different from the other, all these guys who just they say, "Hey, have you seen this Chat GPT application?" What I'm doing actually, I'm doing quite the opposite. Hey guys, this is not the hype. It's not what you think. I mean, not talking about ChatGPT itself, but about some of these apps. For example, I just did a video today about AutoGPT, and
Oh,
I said,
cool.
guys, yeah, guys, it's a cool thing, but hey, it's not like the God mode, it's not the creator mode of ChatGPT. The guys themselves, they are saying we are still exploring the idea. But what I mentioned is, hey, listen, this is very cool because what they are trying to do is like they're having these bots, multiple instances of ChatGPT talking to each others and accessing the internet. So yeah. Now
How
coming back to
how have your
yeah,
videos done on TikTok?
uh, the most viewed video, I think it hit 500 views only. I don't have that big followers. I
I
have
wanna
only
know,
15.
so, it's funny with TikTok. I I committed to doing at least one video a day. I said, "Whatever happens, I'm gonna do one video a day." But I was having a lot of fun doing it, so instead, I would oftentimes do, like, 2 to 4 videos a day. And I
Mm.
shoot everything in the app, I edit everything in the app. I kinda do it on the fly, and it takes me anywhere from, like, 20 to 40 minutes to make each video. Sometimes I can make a video in 15 minutes. One time I made a video in literally a minute and a half, and it got 2 million views. 2 million
Wow.
views. I was in a cafe, I saw some guy working on his laptop who looked like Gary Vaynerchuk, and I have it pinned on my profile, And I zoomed in. He didn't even realize because I was on the other side of the cafe, and I zoomed in slowly while I narrated. I'm like, this guy working on his laptop, he's working away, and all these people are sitting around him. And what nobody realizes is this guy looks exactly like Gary Vaynerchuk. And then I cut the video, and that was it. And it was just one shot, no filters, no editing, just this one shot with me narrating, first take, and I write some quick description for it, and then put it up, and it 2 million views. Um and sometimes actually another one of my videos I made in, I think it was 3 shots, and I made it in maybe like 10 minutes. And that one was like 2.3 million views. Whereas like other ones, I'll spend like 40 minutes on them and they'll get like several 100,000 views. And then other ones, I'll spend like an hour on them and they get like 200 views. And um, but my point is, like, I don't spend a lot of time. But so I was putting up a video. I was putting up 1 to 4 videos a day for 90 days straight, before having before actually like starting to get
Consistency.
followers. Consistent. So now I've had the channel for like 6 months,
Yeah.
and for the first 80 day 85, I think I track my followers every day at 6 a.m. right when I wake up. Day 85, I had 1,400 followers. The next day, I think I had like 2,000, and the day after that, I had like 3,000. So it took me 85 days to get to like 1,400 followers, and then like I nearly doubled them. Actually, I think I had 22 the next day, so I nearly doubled them overnight. And what happened was I realized that hooks are the most important thing in a video. Hooks, like it's like a tweet, or if it's a video, or if it's a movie and you have the opening, whatever it is, you need to have that hook at the beginning. And so I started putting 85%. It's like the Pareto curve. You get like 80% of your results for like 20% of the output. And that hook, which is so short, you get all the results from that hook. So I started putting actually like the 80% effort into that hook, and then the rest of the 20% effort into making the video. And the hook became everything. And when I started doing that, my growth, it's like a hockey stick curve. My growth hockey sticked up. And that was like a huge game changer. And it took me 85 days of doing build in public on TikTok, putting up 1 to 4 videos every day, to realize that. Now I'm at 30,000. I think I can get to 100,000 soon. I honestly think I can be as big as like get someone like Gary V or something. And yeah, I think I would have been like, had I not stopped with SEO in 2015. Here's like, when I look back on my career and I think about, like, I had a bunch of flash in the pan successes, but I should be a billionaire now. And the reason that I'm not a billionaire is because I abandoned efforts too soon. I abandoned things that would have been extremely lucrative. And the big opportunities come when you stick with something for years. And I didn't realize that. So had I stuck with like YouTube, I don't know, I could have been a Casey Neistat character for sure. I could have been a Casey Neistat character. Had I stuck with at search engine optimization, well, I had all these I had all these owners of digital marketing agencies writing for my website for edwardsturm.com as guests. I had clout and I had clients, and I gave that up because of blockchain. But had I stuck with SEO, I would have been Neil Patel. I really think I would have been Neil Patel. I was on track to become someone like Neil Patel, like a combination between Neil Patel and Ryan Holiday. I would have been someone
Hmm.
like that. And then, and with blockchain, we would have been Axie Infinity, a $3 billion company. They literally launched 2 months after us, and they took a lot of our assets from our landing page. They took some CSS, they took some marketing copy that I had made, and my co-founders had made, and they grew slower. They grew really slow, but they were in the right place at the right time because they stuck with it and we abandoned it. And so we would have been Axie Infinity. And so these are the things that I've learned, and I'm not making that mistake again. And I think Twitter is an example. Growth was slow, and then it wasn't. That's what happens. Growth is slow. You stick with it. You come to all these different realizations. You have the time that it takes to test. You find what doesn't work, and you find a lot of things that don't work. But then you find those few things that do work, and you stack them, and then you explode. And that's like life and that's success for me. And that's like what I've learned. That's what I'm so passionate about now. It's just sticking with things and depending on myself too, because it's hard to find co-founders who are as patient and as hardworking as you are. A lot of people, they can't stick with things like a lot of people just aren't tough. I've a lot of my co-founders
Yeah.
are tough, but but I have wild amounts of patience. And my startups are with co-founders and they're great. But also like my growth hacking newsletter, that's on me. My TikTok, that's on me. And I'm very happy that it is. I like that. I like that there are things in my life, business things in my life that I depend on myself for. And it's very nice.
Yeah, that's cool. Um, so the question I want to ask you, Edward, is how can you describe a nomad life, right? Because recently digital nomads are on the rise and solopreneurs. So how you describe this experience?
Yeah. So I've been doing the digital nomad thing for the last 4 years. I've lived in more countries and cities than I can remember. And I'm in Warsaw, Poland now. In a month, I'll be in New York, where I'm from. I'll stay there for 2 months and then I'll probably go back somewhere in Europe. I might even check out Buenos Aires in South America. I have a co-founder who's there now. And honestly, it's really horrible. It's the most like glamorous life. Everyone is jealous. Everyone thinks it's so cool, but it's really dumb. And I want to make more videos about this. The reason it's really dumb is because you meet people and then you leave. You figure out a city and things become comfortable and convenient and then you leave. You figure out how to optimize your life and then you leave and you lose that. You build a community and then you leave. Get a girlfriend, you leave. Boyfriend, if you're whatever, you leave. And friends, you leave. Like so it's actually like it's cool. I think the first year that I did it, it was cool. And then I was really, really lucky actually because with COVID, I had a flight back home a year after I left New York, and I was living in Kiev, Ukraine at the time. So I had this flight back home. COVID happened. My flight home is canceled, and I have a choice to make. And the choice is, should I hop on an emergency flight back to New York, or should I stay in Kiev with the friends that I had made there? And the flight from Kiev to New York is really long. And it was an emergency flight and it was crowded. So I probably wouldn't have had a good seat. I would have had to wait for a long time. There's a lot of unknowns traveling when everything is shutting down. And half of my friends and family told me to go back home, and half of my friends and family told me to stay in Kiev. And I was so comfortable in Kiev with the apartment that I had and the friends that I had made. And I didn't want to get on that flight. So I said, I'm going to stay in Kiev. And that was one of the best decisions I think I've made in my life because lockdowns took a lot longer than everyone said that they would. And I
Yeah,
ended up living in Kiev for years. I spent 2 years living in that city and I made incredible friends. I had amazing relationships. I was comfortable. My life was so optimized. I had optimized my life so much that I could get in incredible work. I made the craziest search engine optimization funnel of my life for a company called Reverb, which now has MRR. And I think if Reverb might go viral this month because we're putting in, I can talk about that in a bit. We're putting in an AI voice feature that takes your voice and as you
mhm,
speak, it can turn it into somebody else. And
that's cool.
and you can share it right away because our literally we made a tool where you record your voice, it gets stored in the cloud, and then you get a link to share it anyway, anywhere, and that link embeds. And so, and we get all of our users through SEO and word of mouth, but especially SEO. In 1 month, we got 32,000 unique visitors from SEO, and these were qualified bottom of funnel people who were just looking for a tool like ours because of the funnel that I built during COVID in Kiev. And I was able to turn out such incredible work because my life was so optimized and that's because I stayed in one place. I very strongly believe in don't be. In fact, recently this girl broke up with me. I actually put it in a TikTok that I made this morning. I met this girl in Barcelona, an incredible human being, and I don't know. I hope we'll get back together. And we were dating in Barcelona, and then I had to leave, and I've been living in Warsaw since. And we tried to make it work, but long distance is very hard. This is the second time I've had a long distance relationship fall through because I'm doing the digital nomad thing.
I
And
see.
it's really frustrating. You meet people, you establish relationships, and it's really hard to keep those going. And so I strongly advocate don't be a digital nomad, be a digital slow mad. That's Peter Levels came up with that term because Peter
Yes.
Levels created the digital nomad life. He actually him and Tim Ferriss made popular.
Yes,
And
I 100% agree on that. Now you mentioned Edward, and we talked about AI a lot. Um, Now, what is your expectation here, especially because you are on the part of search engine optimization, SEO? You have done a lot of work, and now we are seeing, hey, SEO is dead, right? And something like ChatGPT can replace that. I want to, hear your opinion not only on the SEO specifically, but in general, about what we call it white collar jobs and all this things that are happening. What is your opinion on this matter?
um, I spoke with an AI engineer at Google recently about this on a Twitter space. And
Mhm.
him and I actually have the same concern. And that is conversational AI is going to remove the incentives for creating content, and there will be no new creation of a knowledge base, of a written knowledge base, because the incentivization that you get with SEO will be made obsolete. And Bard doesn't even cite sources. Maybe they'll put it in. ChatGPT has it, but you don't really a lot of the time you don't need to look at the sources that it cites. That's why you're using a conversational AI. ChatGPT just started to put that in, I think. But again, the point is you want conversational AI to do a good enough job answering your question that you don't have to look. And it's conversational. You ask more questions to figure things out rather than go and research yourself. And this will be fine with a lot of things. If you need to know how to cut open a mango, we have knowledge bases for that. That's fine. If you want to know how to speak French, knowledge bases for that. ChatGPT can speak to you in French. It can give you courses to practice with. You can tell it to be a French teacher. If a new technology emerges that we need tutorials on, whereas in the past there would have been a wealth of tutorials generated, now there won't be as many tutorials. And it will be, I think, a lot harder for people to learn new technologies and new disciplines. And it's really an unknown when we're gonna have this like knowledge base blackout. And that scares me a lot. I'm also afraid of all the people who are being automated away. I say to a lot of people, I don't want to be. I'm trying to figure out how to not be on the wrong side of history with AI because I think a lot of people will. I think investing in yourself as a creator and as an influencer is a great hedge against AI in the near term, as in like within the next decade. I think it will be a good hedge. Investing in yourself as an influencer, that will be a good hedge. Having a social based uh, software company, which is something else that I have, that will be a great hedge. Um, so that's like those are ways to do it. But I mean, I use Midjourney, I use ChatGPT, I use Bing. And in fact, in a lot of cases, I prefer conversational AI for a top of funnel explorational search than I do Googling something.
Mhm.
And that's a lot of people. If you wanna know how to cut up if I want again, I have 2 mangoes. I bought mangoes the other day at a farmer's market. I actually don't know how to cut open a mango. And, maybe I'll watch on YouTube, maybe I'll ask ChatGPT. ChatGPT will probably be able to tell me. And, and that's because these things are great for top of funnel searches. You can also you can do bottom of funnel to you can make bottom of funnel use case pages. So the article that I wrote that I said was picked up in the SEO newsletter.
Mhm.
That article says you should create a corpus of use cases. And so you would have a long page of every which way to use your software company or your hardware, whatever, or your product or service, a long page or your brand, because that way this works well for SEO. So if someone, for our company Reverb, for a voice company, if you search song recorder, we literally rank number one on Google. If you search, if you search how to record spoken word poetry, we rank number one. If you search have your students record themselves reading, we rank number one. These are a wide difference in use cases, but as a voice recorder in the cloud, as a shareable voice recorder in the cloud, these are all your use cases that we fit very well. And I made SEO landing pages for each of these bottom of funnel use cases. The people who are searching these are looking to use something immediately. That's why it's bottom of funnel. If you do that, that also works well for conversational AI, because when someone is asking the conversational AI, like, what's a good piece of software to have my students record themselves reading, it will say use Reverb record. And and that's another good hedge. But a lot of people, I mean, so like analysts, God, like Bloomberg GPT was just announced, and analysts are so many analysts are going to lose their job and won't come into the market. So yeah, I think very often about how to hedge against AI. And I mean, even if you just look at where DALL-E was in October, I was using DALL-E in October, and now I'm using Midjourney, and or like in the time, like text to image generative AI has increased so fast. God, like if you look at what Midjourney was creating a year ago, less than a year ago, if you look what it was creating last summer and look at what it's creating now, and then think about where it will be in 8 months, man, what will Midjourney be like in 8 months? And I mean, even now, like text to video is improving fast.
Yep.
One of my co-founders, he's not impressed with AI. He's like, "Oh, it's just pattern matching with no logic." Sure, it doesn't have logic, but the people using it do, and people can string it together in really creative ways and remove so many middlemen from the equation. And so that's one, but also like just the way that literally the economic incentives of the web are evaporating in front of our eyes. And I'm very nervous that there's going to be this dark age of information, actually. Um, like you would think, like we have these AI, so we have these AI, so like it's going to be an enlightenment. We're all going to have so much more information. But I think there's going to be a dark age when it comes to new technologies.
uh like this is something I need to write this question and show it as a banner because you know it's provoking question.
Is
It's very
AI going to cause a dark age?
it's because when you were talking about like no one gonna go and create content, I said yes, Edward is right because everyone is now human beings. They like shortcuts. Like every single book that describe how the human brain works, they tell you that human beings are programmed to go search for short.
We're
And
lazy.
I never saw an easier shortcut. And I know from myself, right? Like I will not lie to to the audience here. yeah, I use ChatGPT a lot because I try to automate as much as possible of the tasks that I do on day-to-day basis. But yeah, I never thought, and this is, I need everyone, like what Edward just said is really provoking thought. If we are going to rely on and knowledge that we have built for I don't know how many thousands of years, which were written, digitized, where is the new knowledge? What will happen if a new technology? And are these guys going to use ChatGPT actually to document this technology? I don't know how they're gonna do that, but anyway, it's very very provoking question.
I guess I could see ways where, I guess I could see ways like 5 years from now, if AI could parse, if AI was logical enough, maybe, or okay, so here's what I could imagine. So first I want to preface this by saying, Mehmet, like literally what I described in terms of the economic incentives of the web being evaporated, like this is what the AI engineers at Google fear. So, and it's because they're Google, like they know how search works, and search needs a big knowledge base. And so, um, like this is the biggest fear. But like I'm not really afraid of an AI dominating the world. I think
No,
actually, if
of
that
course.
happened, I think an AI dominating the world will do a better job of humans. To be honest, but I could see a world where I could see, like in 5 years, a way for economic incentives to be maintained. Um, ah, Actually, I can't. No, I really can't. I can see a way to create content really easily. Like maybe you just describe, okay, you describe to an AI how something works and how to do something. The AI asks you questions and then you answer it and you speak it. And then the AI takes that and compiles it into an article, or it
Yeah,
compiles it and adds it to the knowledge base that it uses. Fine. But like, why will people be motivated to do that in the first place? I don't know. Maybe they get paid a small semblance of money, but it's not, but like for the really valuable things that people would write about normally, they're not going to be paid enough. They're not going to be paid enough. And, yeah, I don't know, dark age of information. Yeah, it really feels like we're entering that.
yeah. I'm by nature optimistic. I don't like to be pessimistic at all. And like even in on the podcast, in couple of episodes. I just dedicated 5 6 minutes. The episode was like that long only. So just um, I don't want to say rant. Rant is like you're shouting to people. No, but sometimes also at the same time I'm very upset from stream media. Hey, AI is gonna eat the world, as you said. Like it's not, guys. It's not the case, right? It's not what people is, are trying to show. Like you should be scared of AI. The way I look at it is any technology, whether it's AI or any other tech, that can help human beings in doing things into a much easier way that they used to do, and make them at the end of the day more happy and more prosperous. I'm with that technology. You call it AI, you can call it whatever you want, right? Um, AI dominating the world and killer AI and all this. This is just like uh, probably a Terminator kind
So
of
where
movie.
do you stand? Let me ask you, are you one of the people who thinks, AI is going to create, it's going to eliminate jobs faster than they come into the market, and there will be a lot of starving people? Or are you one of the people who thinks that, yeah, a bunch of new jobs will be created? It's like when the horse and carriage were eliminated, then people
Is
found new jobs.
yeah, but I say this with caution. I say this with caution. Is that yeah, it will create a new generation of jobs, but if we don't act fast and if keep okay, I have to say it. If we keep the same way of thinking, if we keep the same way of education system we have it today, if we keep the same way of doing things that we have been doing for a long time, and doing the same resistance for anything that comes new, because this is a something humans have been doing for thousands of years. They don't like changes. But the difference between this change and the changes that happened before, that the changes that happened before, it took long time actually to happen.
A really
So
long time.
yeah. But now ChatGPT, I mean, for the public, it was released in November, and we are just in April now, right?
No, it was
This was
released in December. It was released December
yeah,
2nd. and
Yeah.
we're in April, and it's crazy.
Yeah. So think about, I've never seen, and this actually like a previous episode I mentioned this. I don't remember. I've been like I'm a 43 years old guy, right? And I'm not that old, but again, like I've seen it all, as we can say, and I've never seen, and I cannot remember even in history something that happened that fast, same way that is happening with the AI, uh, you know, generative AI, conversational AI, whatever you want to call it. Of course, like when the smartphone came, but smartphone adoption took some quite time, took like years actually. So everyone adopted it. Internet.
ChatGPT is the fastest growing product of all time.
Yeah.
It's literally the fastest growing product of all time in the history of
Now,
humanity.
let me tell you this, Edward. My only concern is that if companies, corporate, right, they don't act fast and you know, change the way they think and they let their people also be agile. Agility is the number one skill, I would say. People tell you, yeah, you should learn AI, you should learn this, you should learn tech. Yeah, of course, learn this stuff. You should learn to be agile, you should learn to pivot fast. I think this is the number one skill that every single human being needs nowadays. This is my personal
That's
opinion.
true. That's true.
Yeah, because if you don't know how to adapt to changes very fast, it's not like I'm threatening them, but really, guys, I think you will agree with me, Edward. I don't know what will come. I'm not saying next year. I don't know next month what what new tech can come because of all this. And we were talking about auto GPT and the bots economy and all these things. Guys, these are things that are happening real. These are not like a Steven Spielberg movie. It's not like you're not watching uh, uh, Iron Man movie kind of thing. These things are real. You can test them if you want, and you need to be ready. And it's not like for amusement, guys. This is not amusement. These are really something that is changing businesses. It's changing our day-to-day life. Adopt it. You have to live with it. Don't complain about it. What are your final thoughts on this before we close?
Oh, final thoughts. I had a crazy final thought.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Uh, well, I actually totally agree with that. Gotta move fast. No, I can't even remember this crazy final thought that I there was. I think it was like the Terminator thing. Um, yeah, I mean the way that it's progressing is really fast, and you need to try Midjourney. Midjourney, literally, you can try it for free. It's really easy to try. If you can't think of a good prompt, you can go to Midjourney. You can literally just Google Midjourney Showcase and uh, and then get like prompts to use. ChatGPT should be 100% tried by everybody in the world. And um, to be honest, I don't know what's going to happen. I hope we have a utopia. I actually think AI shouldn't be regulated. I think it should be people should work on it as fast as possible to try to create the best solution
Because you
that they
cannot.
can. Because there's a lot of bad actors who are working on AI too, and they don't care about sanctions and laws. They don't care about that. And you need to have the good guys moving at the fastest pace that that they can as well. It's really like this is I mean, I don't know. I could end on a bad note and say this is a lot scarier than nukes, which I believe that it is. I actually think this is a lot scarier than nukes. Um, I'm not really afraid of like the whole like the AI isn't aligned with us and it's gonna like destroy all of us. Um, I think what's more likely to happen is that we merge with an AI and that AI merges with the fabric of the universe and like the universe wakes up as a conscious organism that we can't even comprehend. It's literally like it's the level of we are a bacteria in the gut and the bacteria can't understand you. It can't understand what's outside of you. And it's like that level that we're at that level of understanding with consciousness. And maybe the AI can help us understand better. But, I think there's gonna be a lot of pain in the short term, and here's what you can do to here's how I'll end. Here's what you can do to hedge against AI in the short term. Um, use Midjourney, use ChatGPT, just like see what's out there. Uh, and then invest in yourself and um in I don't want to say like everyone needs to be a creator, but be vocal in what you do. Because if you're vocal in what you do, you will expand your surface area for opportunity and you will have amazing opportunities come your way. And then don't quit and give up. Too many people are quick to quit and give up. And there is literally a market for everything. And oftentimes that market is a lot bigger than people realize. And you just need to stay in something long enough and the opportunity will present itself. I think that's been my biggest lesson. It's what I'm doing now. I preach it to everyone. Very few people listen. The few people who do listen will be absurdly wealthy. So that's what
Yeah,
that's how I'll end it. I hope to see this podcast going in like 3 years. And
yeah, yeah. Actually, guys, like I'm not doing here. At least I can talk about myself, Edward. I'm not doing any predictions here. I'm just saying my own opinion, and I can say mm, more than 90% of the times my predictions comes right.
yeah.
Usually about tech. Yeah.
I mean,
Uh,
actually, so what else have you predicted correctly? Like what big things have you predicted correctly?
I remember that when it was like a bet among friends, right? Like that was at the time when the iPhone came out, and everyone was saying the iPhone would be a big failure. For example, uh, I remember when another prediction is, I think it was about uh, Twitter. Like
Okay.
who gonna use a tool that allows you to do only 140 characters at that time? And I said, no, I can see what they are trying to do. So I was right at that time. It's not like I didn't get wrong. Of course, I did get wrong. For example, I didn't expect TikTok to explode this way because I said
Okay.
there's enough in the market and a newcomer would do like a
How about crypto?
oh, this is a gray area for me, honestly, Edward. It's a gray area for me, and the reason it's a gray area, it's not because I am with or against, um, because it okay. I believe in blockchain as a technology, right?
I do
I'm
too.
yeah, I'm a believer in this. The thing is, I try to avoid talking about it. Is like the moment you tell someone blockchain, they speak about cryptocurrency, and when you and again, nothing wrong with cryptocurrency as a concept, but the moment you start to speak about cryptocurrency, you know what the next question is? Oh, so do you advise us to invest in Bitcoin? Hey guys, I'm not a financial advisor of you.
You know what? I will actually say this is what I'll say. As someone who ran the biggest blockchain meetup in the world, blockchain is an incredible technology. Bitcoin is the only cryptocurrency that I believe in. And um, I'm not a financial advisor either. So take my advice with a grain of salt. But I think buying Bitcoin as a hedge is a tremendous decision. I think that's a great decision. But again, not real financial advice, you know. But
Yeah,
yeah, like I think Bitcoin is literally the only cryptocurrency that I believe in. As someone who's built top dApps, decentralized applications on Ethereum, who knows about DeFi, Bitcoin is still like it's number one for me.
yeah, for me, just also for the audience, maybe this is the first time I talk about cryptos. I discussed blockchain as a technology and use cases other than crypto, but you're gonna hear it from me, guys. Um, I'm not against cryptocurrency because actually think about it. Today, all what you are doing is kind of a crypto. You are not holding money in your hands anymore, right? You're doing digital transactions.
Yeah.
The only difference is when you are doing it with a fiat currency is that there is a central bank, that is monitoring these transactions, and it's like there's only one database that holds that. Like in blockchain, it's a ledger distributed across peers. So, okay, so it's from technical perspective, but again, uh, this is why I'm not against it. But uh, yeah, I agree with you, Edward. Like for me, I understood Bitcoin, Ethereum also as well, because Ethereum works on the smart contracts concept. But anything that came after that, for me, it was, what
Well,
are these guys?
even Ethereum, here's the thing about decentralized applications, decentralized projects. You actually can't really fully decentralize a project. You can't you because in order for a project to be fully decentralized, the stack that it depends on has to be decentralized as well. The Discord has to be decentralized, the GitHub has to be decentralized, the social
Exactly.
media accounts have to be decentralized, the hosting has to be decentralized. All of that's very hard to do, and it's just not done. And so you actually that's why I don't really believe in real decentralized applications. I think the decentralized applications that exist now, using blockchain as a cool technology. But like but yeah, like it's like pseudo decentralization. But
Yeah.
Bitcoin as like a fully decentralized thing, I really believe in Bitcoin.
One final thing from my side, Edward, I want to say. Now, I tell people, okay, don't judge me, but when you decide to use something, whatever it is, you complain about the fiat currency and you go and tie this investment to the fiat currency, and then you have to have the man in the middle, which is the exchange houses. So whatever you are saying, you are complaining about, it all falls apart for me, at least. So
Yeah.
this is why I see some contradiction. So yeah, we might one day get rid of the fiat currency, and we will be dealing with
Well, that's
Bitcoin, or
coming.
yeah,
Central
or
bank.
whatever it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Centralized. What?
I mean, like the idea of the man in the middle, and actually, I was right because all what happened later with the FTC and the other stuff, I was right. This is one of the predictions that I did also as well. I said this man in the middle, I have big question marks on them because maybe they are good people. I'm not blaming anyone here, but again, I have to trust what I call in the technical term a single point of failure, because if these guys fail to protect my assets, I will lose my asset, right?
Yeah.
Of course, it is somewhere. I mean, from technical perspective, the Bitcoin, it is still in my wallet, but my wallet was actually issued by these guys, and now it's lost. I cannot access it anymore. So, so this is on this topic.
Well, what do you
Um,
mean? If you own your Bitcoin, then you can access it whenever you want.
yeah, I know, but I mean, when you do the exchange thing, if you want to
Yeah,
get it
well, the
out,
exchanges are centralized.
yeah. So this
Yeah,
is just this is the thing. Well,
yeah,
this is why I tell people, either you believe in Bitcoin and you keep your money there, don't move it in and out. Like, this is my own opinion, of
yeah,
course.
yeah.
It's not a financial advice.
Everyone saw what happened with FTX.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly. Well, Edward, like, any final thing, because we run out of time. So
The
anything you
final
want?
final thing. Oh man, it's just yeah, it's what I said. Whatever you're doing, stick with it and be really vocal. Actually, I came up. So I have a growth hacking newsletter, edwardsturm.com/newsletter. And or you can just go to edwardslink.com. That usually redirects to the newsletter. And my most recent email, I came up with an equation. So I'll leave you with this equation. It's a very powerful equation for business and life, and that is um, it is vocality
Mhm.
plus time equals opportunity. And if you are vocal about something for a long enough period of time, and it's not as long as you think, you will be presented extreme opportunities for wealth and success. And that's what I've seen in my life. And I've made a lot of bad decisions to capitalize off those opportunities. And I should be a billionaire. And now that I've realized this, I actually think I'm going to be really, from what I'm seeing with my TikTok alone and the people that are contacting me, I think it's going to be crazy. So vocality plus time equals opportunity. That's what I'll leave you with.
Well, that's very insightful, I would say. And, I'm very happy to do this episode with you, Edward. Like, I think this is one of the richest episodes ever I have done so far, because
Really?
yes, we've covered a broad range of topics. I would love to hear the feedback from the audience about this, please let me know. Don't forget to subscribe. By the way, before we close, so this is the handle for Edward's TikTok. It's at build underscore in underscore public. So if you want to follow him, actually, I'm gonna put all this in the episode description on YouTube and on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all the other podcasting platform. As usual, if you have any comment, if you have any questions about this episode or the show in general, please don't hesitate. Please write to me. You can either write in the comments, you can reach out to me by email, LinkedIn, or Twitter. And soon on TikTok, I would say I'm gonna learn from Edward how to grow the audience there. And if you are also interested to come on the show and be a guest, please don't hesitate to do that. And thank you very much for tuning in. And we will see you in the next episode. Thank you very much.